Today we're making some delicious sheet pan chicken fajitas that can be served either family style, as fajita tacos, or served as an entree. Now the secret to any delicious fajita is in the spice mix. So I'm also going to show you a restaurant secret fajita spice blend consisting of 13 spices. This spice mix also goes great with steak, chicken, burgers, and even fish. This even goes great with stir-fried vegetables. Okay, so first I'm going to grab this used peppercorn container to put our mix in. Any spice container works, and it helps if it has what is called a spice lid for easy pouring. Here I added some dried beans to absorb most of the moisture, kind of like how rice is used in salt shakers to prevent them from clumping. If you look at the ingredient list of some commercial spice blends, you'll notice that they'll add anti-caking fillers. You'll often see the ingredient cellulose, tricalcium phosphate, or modified cornstarch as part of the ingredient list. And in case you didn't know, the ingredients on the back of packages are listed from most abundant to least. Alright, here we go. Now, we add some granulated garlic, granulated onion, good amount of paprika, chili powder, cayenne pepper, ground cumin, dried oregano, salt, more than what I actually show here, and fresh cracked pepper. You can stop here and you'll have a really good traditional fajita spice recipe, but we're going to make it better. Next, add garlic salt. When it comes to this spice, I do prefer Laura's brand, the one with the green cap. Just be careful with the store knockoff brands that like to use the green cap to trick consumers. Add seasoning salt, and I also prefer Laura's for this one. Next we'll add chicken bouillon, tomato bouillon, and here I also prefer the Knorr brand for the bouillons. Put a lid and thoroughly mix it all up. Oh, one additional spice that I almost forgot but added afterwards is celery salt. So I guess it's a fortune spice blend. We set it aside and finally start our chicken fajitas. First we set our oven to 425. I'm starting the clock at about 5 minutes because that's how long it took me to get the spices and the ingredients ready. Here I got about 1.5 pounds of chicken breast. I'm using a paring knife to clean and trim off the fat. Just pull on the fat and let the knife do the work. You can also use boneless thighs. They are cheaper and have a lot more flavor. Okay, here we slice them in half to thin them out. We want to cut about 1/4 inch thick strips. I cut them in half to make most of them about 2.5 inches long. Transfer the chicken to a bowl and add a generous amount of our great fajita mix and mix it all up. A lot of it got stuck on my fingers. This is why I often use gloves for this. Alright, get a 1-gallon Ziploc bag, throw in the chicken. Here I'm using tongs to keep my hands as clean as possible after washing them. Add about 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, followed by about 1/3 cup of soy sauce. Seal most of the bag, leaving about 1 inch open to squeeze out most of the air. Finish sealing it when done. Just make sure it's sealed well, we don't want to make a mess. Mix it all up, making sure all the pieces get coated well. Roll it up and refrigerate it for at least 20 minutes and at most 24 hours. Now we'll move to our vegetables. Make sure to clean your cutting board very well or just grab a clean one and do the same with your knife. Also, try to get into the habit of always holding your knife just before every use to ensure that it stays sharp. Run the blade 4 or 5 times per side and you should be good to go. That being said, I ran mine like 15 times, but that's because I'm a crazy person. Okay, here I use 3 different color peppers, but mostly for video aesthetics because the red and yellow peppers cost about twice as much as the green ones. Next time you order fajitas, notice how they'll serve you a bunch of onions and green peppers with a couple of red ones sprinkled in. That's how they keep their food costs down. And I don't blame them. Besides, fajitas are so easy to make, you shouldn't be ordering them, but making them. Best to order birria tacos or some chipotle enchiladas. Anyway, getting back to the peppers. You could do 2 greens and 1 red, or all green, or 3 or 4 different colors. It's all up to you. The important part of all this is the size. Notice that I'm cutting them in about 1/4 inch thick, what the French call batonnet, instead of the julienne slice, which is about 1/8 of an inch thick. I cut them thicker so that they can withstand the high heat and retain their shape and texture. Next is the onion, but don't make the same mistake I made. Try to cut a bit more of the root end so that when you cut them, they'll just fall apart. You can use a yellow or red onion. Again, the yellow onion is often the cheapest, while the white one can be the most expensive. Anyway, after peeling it, cut them long ways from root to tip end. Again, in 1/4 inch slices. See how I'm struggling to break them apart? That's because I didn't cut enough of the root. I should have cut about 1/4 inch more, but that's okay. Moving on. Mix them all together and season with some vegetable or coconut oil, followed by a generous amount of our secret fajita mix. Mix well and set aside. Get a baking sheet, and if you want to reduce cleanup time, simply line it up with aluminum foil like I'm doing. Pour and spread out the mix as much as possible, leaving room for the chicken. Then again, you can just add the chicken. Just make sure that most of the vegetables and chicken are touching the pan to sear them up a bit. You don't have to separate the colors at all. I'm just doing this for different presentation ideas and pictures. You also don't have to add the chicken separately. But again, I'm a bit of a wacko, and that's okay. Next, we'll stick it in our 425-degree oven and set a timer for 20 minutes. 5 minutes before the time's up, I stick in some tortillas wrapped in aluminum foil to warm them up. Now, around the 60-minute mark, I take a couple of pieces of chicken out and check them by cutting them in half and seeing if there's any pink and if they look cooked through. If they are, I pull them out. If not, I let them sit for another 4 minutes or so, and then check again. After I take them out, I turn off the oven, but let the tortillas sit in until I'm ready to serve to keep them as warm as possible. Garnish with some cilantro and lime wedges. Always top your fajitas with lime. If they don't serve you limes at the restaurant, ask for them. I'm telling you, it's worth it. These fajitas can be served family style and go great with some refried beans, pico de gallo, guacamole, tortillas, sour cream, and delicious Mexican rice. Those recipes are coming soon. These also make great fajita tacos or serve as an entree. This recipe can serve 4 to 5 adults. Okay, this fajita dish will take less than an hour, especially if you already have a spice blend. Now mind you, it took me a bit longer because I decided to separate the vegetables, but again, you don't have to do that. Here's hoping you really give this easy recipe a try. And as always, the list of ingredients are in the description below.